to me, Kanye's album was better. But I think I just like Kanye more as, I'm not sure, man. I think I just like Kanye's music a little bit more. And Drake is all about producing hits. I look at Kanye as producing art and Drake as producing hits, and they're very good at what they do. What is up? What is up, my podcast people, man? Welcome back to another episode of Cam Chronicles. I believe this is episode 25. And I know you all, if you've been watching the podcast, I know on episode 25, I said I would have all of the episodes of Cam Chronicles are uploaded onto Spotify and Apple Music. Not Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. But that's not done yet. So we're almost there. So give me 1 or 2 more weeks and I should have that up there for those that like to just listen in the car and, don't want to hassle, mess around with YouTube while they're in certain situations where they just want to pop the earbuds in and don't want to watch and just want to listen. So getting there. So give me, 1 or 2 weeks on that and I should have that done. It just takes a long time to upload these things and I don't just have the separate audio files, so I have to go into the video file that I edited and strip it down to the audio and make sure that, everything makes sense, for visuals I may have showed on the screen. I usually don't do that, but earlier on in the podcast I did. So just figuring that out. But I should have that up for those who want it very shortly. So I'm excited for that. It's been 2 weeks since I uploaded a podcast. I did miss last week. I was pretty exhausted. It was after the first week of classes, just doing a lot of, I shouldn't even say doing a lot of stuff. I was just exhausted, man. Just moving here. And I don't even know how I got that podcast out basically the week that I moved in. But, man, the sun is coming out. The exposure is going to mess. I was trying to get my blinds in a position to where the sun is not, beaming on my face on this direction. But anyway, I was just pretty tired. As the first week of classes, trying to figure out my schedule and what I need to do for work, and pretty much my schedule of uploading on YouTube. Because as I've been saying, I really want to get back into uploading pretty heavily on YouTube on all different channels and even some new channels that I will be mentioning here in the short time. Sorry if you can hear my washer. It's pretty loud. I don't know. I literally just put some towels in it, so I don't know why it's so loud. But what was I gonna say? Yes, it's been 2 weeks. Well, there was another train of thought, but we can just move on to the next little bullet point I got here. That was last Sunday was the Jake Paul fight. I don't know if anybody's interested in it, but as you probably already know, Jake Paul won that. I did watch that. I really wanted this man Jake Paul to win. Not gonna lie, I wanted him to knock out Tyrone Woodley. I was pretty excited about that. I don't know, what did you all? Were y'all rooting for Jake Paul or were you rooting for Tyrone Woodley? I'm pretty sure most of you were rooting for Tyrone. But I feel like Jake has come too far to be like, I don't want him to lose now. Now I want him to get all the way up. The only person I really want to see him lose to is KSI. If he loses to KSI, that's the best loss. I mean, if he loses to Conor McGregor, it's just he was gonna lose. If he versus Conor McGregor or Canelo, he's gonna lose. And if he wins, it's the greatest thing. I'd still be rooting for him. But if he loses to KSI, that would just be the story of the century. Because KSI knocked out both the Paul brothers, but not knocked out, but won against both the Paul brothers. So, that's that. Let me know what y'all thought about that fight in the comments. School. Like I said, first week of classes. Oh, that's the point I was going to bring up. The classes that I'm taking a 3rd level computer science class, a 2nd level computer engineering class, a philosophy class on ethics. So that should be pretty cool. And then a math class on matrices and everything. It's the last math class I have to take until I go to stats, and then I have to take 2 stats classes. But yeah, I pretty much already took Calc 1, 2, and 3. Now I'm taking this matrices class, which is just kind of it's a pretty easy class. Just taking old concepts and putting them into matrix like form and doing that of the sort. But yeah, I'm only taking 12 credits this semester. Kind of easing back into school. I haven't been in school for 7-8 months because I took last semester off. So didn't want to load myself up. I feel like I did want to load myself up because I wanted to get through school faster, but people told me that it would be better to not load myself up, and it's definitely proven true because I was already exhausted with 12 credits. But yeah, I don't know how are you. I know a lot of people that watch me are in high school and in college. Let me know how your start to the semester or trimester, whatever y'all do if you're on high school, is going. Um, because yeah, mine is going decent, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see. My computer science class is probably gonna be the hardest, but we'll see. Um, Returning to streaming. I plan to return to streaming this current week. So this is the start of September 5th. Um, I had to buy a little dongle a little Wi-Fi adapter for my computer to get my computer on the same Wi-Fi as my PlayStation to connect them to get sound for my stream. The other way that I was using was just taking up too much computer usage on my PC, and it was just causing the stream to lag and my recording of the stream and gameplay to be compromised. So I couldn't have that. So I had to buy a little dongle to do that. So I will be back streaming this week. I haven't really figured out that schedule, but I will have a video either this week or next week for sure. Telling you all the schedule that I plan to kind of abide by, definitely on the KX channel. So that will be, if you're into my gaming content, definitely make sure that you have your notifications on for the KX channel because some good stuff is coming over there. And then I will be, I know I just said I'll be creating a few more channels. One of those is my Cam Chronicles Clips channel. So you all can watch the podcast in clips. I know that I used to kind of divide the podcast up into little segments so that on the little scroll bar, you could find, whatever segment that you were interested in, whatever topic I was talking about, and you could just fast forward to there, watch that little clip, and then click off the podcast if that's all you wanted to watch of the podcast. But I will be creating a clips channel so that it's just like a video, and it will. It's just a video of that topic that I talked about in the podcast for those that just kind of want to, don't have time to watch the full podcast at the moment. So that's going to be cool. I think that's going to help a lot of people out or just be more, convenient for people. Because I know, it's hard to kind of carve out time in your day to watch an hour or a 2-hour podcast or even 30-minute podcast sometimes. Sometimes you just kind of want to hear one little clip, and I understand that. So I'll be doing that for you all to make it easier for you all. What else? I already mentioned the Spotify and Apple podcast, being that up. Yeah, I think that pretty much concludes the little life update. So we got content piece of the week. Content piece of the week is going to be a documentary that I actually just watched last night. I was kind of debating on a few content pieces of the week, but I think this is a pretty interesting one. This documentary is on a kid that was around 19 to 20 years old that created basically an online drug trade on the free accessible internet. Like he didn't, create a website on the dark web. It was literally just a website that you could just look up and just buy drugs off of. And he, I'm not sure if I just said the name of the documentary, but it was Shiny Flakes. And so this is the name that he went by, as well as the name of the website. So this was it goes on to tell the story of how he like created this at 19 and 20 years old. He was living with his parents. His parents didn't even know, his parents didn't even come into his room or look in his room for over a year. And the story is pretty crazy. Like the amount of money he was able to make, was, it was in Bitcoin, and what it's worth, what that kind of money in Bitcoin is worth today will definitely amaze you. So I definitely recommend you watch that if you're kind of interested in that kind of topic. And I thought it was pretty good. It is dubbed in English, just because it was originally, I'm not sure what language it was in originally, but yeah, so it is dubbed in English. So if you don't like watching stuff that's like, it has to be dubbed, I understand that. It was kind of annoying for me, but it was a pretty interesting story. So I quote unquote suffered it through it. But yeah, that's the content piece of the week. Let me know if you've seen it, because it's been out for probably at least 2 weeks, maybe a month now. Or let me know if you watch it, and let me know what you thought down in the comments. All right, so our first topic of the week will be the albums that came out in just this last week. And of course, I'm talking about Kanye and Drake. So this is going to be kind of interpretation piece for you all. Let me know what you thought of Donda and CLB, Certified Lover Boy. I thought both albums were pretty good. Kanye's album, I thought was, to me, Kanye's album was better. But I think I just like Kanye more as, I'm not sure, man. I think I just like Kanye's music a little bit more. And Drake is all about producing hits. I look at Kanye as producing art and Drake as producing hits, and they're very good at what they do. So I thought both albums were probably an 8 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10. And I can't give them a 9 out of 10. I can give Donda 8.5 out of 10 at most, and then an 8 out of 10 for Certified Lover Boy, maybe 7.5. I haven't done my second listen through Certified Lover Boy. I kind of have my songs and I've been listening to those. But yeah, my favorite song on Donda was probably a mix between Heaven and Hell, Moon, Pure Souls, and Hurricane. Like all of those four are like literally at the top, and equivalent to me. I know a lot of people liked Hurricane and Off the Grid, but I definitely think, I know it is 27 songs, but I definitely think there's a song for everybody on that album. So definitely listen. I know it's a long album, but definitely take the time to listen, because you're probably going to find a song you like later down in the album, even if you didn't like the first few songs, because that was me. I didn't really like the first few songs. But yeah, Certified Lover Boy, my favorite song was probably, what was it called? Oh man, I can't remember what that song is called. Something with Belong. Let me pull it up here. Oh, not Belong. Get Along Better. Get Along Better was probably my favorite song on there. Then Champagne Poetry, and it's a tie between the feature with Rick Ross and Lil Wayne and Fountains. I really enjoyed those songs on the album. In terms of bars, of course, I have to say 7 a.m. Bridal Path on Certified Lover Boy. But yeah, I was pretty impressed by both albums. I do think that this will go down in history as a classic for Drake. I'm not sure if people will certify. I'm not sure if people will certify Donda as a classic for Kanye. I don't think most people, 80% to 90% people, won't. I don't necessarily. I think I put it at number 5 or number 6 of his albums. But I was just recently listening to Graduation, and man, it's just the best Kanye album. Like there's literally no skips on the song. The only skip I would have, if I'm not in the mood, was Drunken Hot Girls. I think that's, I probably would skip that 50% of the time. But every other song on there you can literally just listen to all the way through, and that's like 13 bangers. So I previously thought that College Dropout was the best album, and it still kind of is for nostalgic reasons and the storytelling reasons, because I feel like that was a true album experience where you got to listen to the entire album and it told a story, as well as it had a lot of bangers on it as well. But yeah, I think I got to give the title to Graduation. And then we were talking about how Views is still the best Drake album. When I say we, I was talking with my roommate. And yeah, that's my take on the albums that dropped. Let me know what you thought. Have you listened yet? Have you not listened? What are you giving them out of 10 for Donda and Certified Lover Boy? But let me pull my notes back up here. The second topic, man, this was something that I heard about on a YouTube channel called Abba and Preach, and they were talking about being self-made. And I think that I have had different relationships with that phrase or word, words throughout my life. I haven't lived that long, but I think probably in high school I was very set on being quote unquote self-made, like creating something by myself and not getting handouts and everything. But the main thing I wanted to talk about in being self-made is anyone really self-made? And I bring that up because even if you created a business by yourself and you brought yourself up by the bootstraps, yada yada yada, there were people that mentored you, that allowed you to succeed, that told you something that clicked in your head and allowed you to have that vision, or allowed you to have the motivation to complete that project. Probably for most people, their parents that helped them, through their life, and help support them when they needed something. Maybe that's a small loan of $1 million. But seriously, just people in your life, family, friends, that inspired you or helped you through a hard time, or helped you progress in whatever it was, in order for you to get to a certain place. And especially if if whatever you created heavily involves on other people buying into the product, whether that's watching your product, or that's actually buying merchandise from your company, or something like that. And it's like, it would be a disservice to those people. I feel that's just my personal opinion, that I feel that it would be a disservice to those people to say that you're self-made because they helped you out. Whether it was it probably wasn't a loan of $1 million, but it was that extra strength, or that extra words of advice or encouragement that allowed you to keep going and allowed you to create the thing that you have created today. And so I just thought that was an interesting point, and that we are always we're kind of wrapped up in like, oh, I'm self-made and I ain't asked for handouts. And I think it is something to be said for that, not having a huge amount of help and creating something out of bad circumstances, or just unlikely circumstances. But for me, I definitely just wouldn't use the term. So I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you agree with that, or if you do feel that the self-made has a different what's the word I'm looking for, definition than that. Because I would be open to hearing that, and probably would definitely agree that it could be defined in different ways, and then you could then establish yourself accordingly, as deem yourself accordingly as self-made. But let me know what you think. The third topic for today is it's a short topic, but it's just about integrity, and it's about integrity on the internet. Really, I think I have just been observing people on the internet, obviously over the last several years, but definitely in the last 1 to 2 years. And it's very interesting, the amount of lack of integrity that I feel that people have when doing things on the internet. It's almost that they feel that they don't that the internet is just kind of a place to do whatever you want, and you don't have to answer for the consequences of whatever you do on the internet. And so I think that there are some things, there's definitely things that I would not do on the internet. And kind of seeing the world today is like there isn't things that people won't do on the internet for 1 minute of fame or a quick buck. And that's kind of crazy to me. I don't really have any specific examples, but I just think, I just wanted to say that I think it is important to remember that when you are putting stuff out on the internet, to think twice before you're posting certain things, and just think about, hey, is this really something I need to be posting on the internet right now? Like, did I really think this through, or am I just posting this to be posting it, or posting it when it's sacrificing one of my morals just to get a quick buck, So it's a short little topic, but I just have kind of noticed in today's world there is there's a shortage of integrity on the internet, and people are saying whatever they want to be, wanting to say without accountability. And I get, I get jokes and things, and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. But when you're just over the top with somebody, and they clearly are not taking it as a joke, it's like, at that point, what are you doing? Like, this not benefiting anybody. So I guess you could say that's one example, but that goes for a lot of things. It's a very wide spectrum of everything that's uploaded on the internet. So I don't know. Just seems like today people got no filter. But the okay, so this is one of the a topic I wanted to talk about that I've thought about for a long time, and I've wondered if anybody else has felt like this over the last couple of years. So I think probably in eighth or ninth grade, I started to think about, hey, I want to become a YouTuber. Like, I want to put videos out, and I want to entertain people, or just talk about life, on a podcast. Or at that time, I probably didn't have the idea of a podcast, but at least playing video games and talking to people and streaming and whatever it is. And I was always thinking about, this is such a good opportunity and fun opportunity for everyone in the world, that anybody can be a YouTuber, that I wonder if we will get to a point where nobody wants to do the crucial jobs that we depend on in America or in the world to keep the world running. I'm like, what happens when all our kids want to be YouTubers and not doctors and teachers and all these things that are crucial to our society, that we need to continue the ecosystem that we have going on here. And it's weird because I remember thinking about that at, to me, such a young age, which I was, probably 13 to 15. And now it has kind of come more to light as a fear, because of the whole quit your job movement. Now, what I mean by that is just a lot of people, on in today's world, kind of after the pandemic, and really even slightly before the pandemic, have just been talking about how they're kind of just tired of working in the corporate world, and that it's not necessarily satisfactory, and they aren't happy in their jobs, or whatever corporate position they are in. And, a lot of people are like, hey, I'm going to quit and do whatever I love, whether that's create a band or, be a YouTuber or, just drive people around, like drive across across the state or or the world, and just go on trips and, make a business here and make a business here. And I think that's great. I think it is really great that people are kind of finding their happiness, and they're kind of waking up and realizing that you don't have to be in an office job, to just survive every day. You don't have to do a 9 to 5 that's set, upon hours that you don't want to work. That doesn't mean that you won't still be working 8 hours a day or more. But if you are enjoying it, it probably is, you don't mind working 10 hours a day to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. At least that's how I view it. But I guess getting back to the question here, because of this movement, I feel that we're getting closer to my fear of people just not going into the career fields that we will need as, in this ecosystem that we have. And I just wonder if anybody else feels that way. Like, are we going to have enough doctors in the future? Like, am I going to have, is it going to be a shortage of doctors when I'm like 85 and need help? Is there going to be, is it going to be people that still want to be police people, like police officers, with everything going on in the police force and, with the, police brutality and everything? Is there going to be people that want to continue to work in power plants and drive trucks all the time and, to get, produce back and forth across the entire, United States, but also the entire world? It's like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't really know the numbers statistically of how many people are quitting their jobs and, is there a shortage of people coming into fields and blah, 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 blah. But I just find it a very interesting thought to think about in this time. So I wanted to bring it up on the podcast to see if you felt that way. And if you do, let's talk about it in the comments. But yeah, that's all the topics I had for today. Just kind of a little short, little catch up of a podcast. I know this is another personal podcast, and I previously did a personal podcast. But I will have a guest podcast for you next week. And so that will be the guest podcast that I was previously talking about 2 weeks ago. That will be on here. Just had a little bit of a scheduling conflict. So hope to get you all that podcast. And before we go, do the Cam Chronicles, or I keep saying Cam Chronicles, the Cam cheat code of the week. So the Cam cheat code of the week is, I thought it was very interesting. And it's something I think I've been thinking about, but haven't put into words. It's not like they're complicated words. I just haven't put it into a phrase. But I want to say that this was, I heard this phrase through a YouTuber called Andrew Kirby. I never really watched him before, but he was talking about start, then learn, not learn, then start. And I think this resonates with me and probably will resonate with you as a content creator or really anything that you want to do in life. A lot of us get caught up in, I have to be an expert at this to actually be successful in whatever venture I am trying to explore. And I know for me personally, I've gotten severely wrapped up in that mindset where I'm like, man, I have to learn everything possible to make sure that the first product I put out is amazing. And I think that's really stunted me. I remember the point that I meant to say 20 minutes ago. I'll talk about it, but has really stunted me from putting out YouTube videos. And this is the point that I was meant to mention, was that I looked back and I really only put out 4 videos on my KX channel in 2021. And I think that was pretty surprising to me. Obviously that doesn't really tell the whole story in terms of how much I've been working on YouTube, because there's videos that I have kind of almost done, 90% done, that I haven't released yet because I'm like, I want to learn everything before I actually put it out. I streamed a lot on my KX channel this year, as well as I, started the podcast, and I've been doing the podcast pretty much every week, and I've only missed 2 weeks so far. So, I'm still proud of myself in that aspect. I'm not really, I try not to get too down on myself for not doing enough, but I do realize that a lot of what's prohibiting me from putting out different content and starting new channels that I really want to create is because I'm like, I don't want to just start it. I want it to be the best. And I think that's a little bit of something that I've talked about before, and being like a perfectionist, and wanting everything to be perfect, but applying it to where you may be at in life. If you want to start a business, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you want to start whatever it is, if you want to go for another degree, if you want to get your doctor's degree, if you want to get your master's degree, whatever that thing is, you just have to start it and then learn along the way. Because if you try to learn everything before you start, you will prohibit yourself from ever starting that thing for at least a couple months to years, and it's just more beneficial to just start and learn as you go. And I'm glad that I did that with, both of my channels. It took me a long, I'm not going to lie that it took me a long time, but I'm glad that I did that with both of my channels, and just kind of learned on the fly. Learned how to, get better at streaming, learned how to set up my mics, learned how to edit videos better. Obviously, the first video that I ever created on my KX channel, is a lot worse than the videos that I release now. And so that progression, was me learning as I was going. Instead of trying to learn everything and then come out with the most perfect video, that may or may not have gotten any views. So yeah, that's the Cam cheat code of the week: to start, then learn; not to learn, then start. Because you're just going to prohibit yourself if you're trying to learn all this information. And the truth is that you can't learn everything possible, without actually doing it. It's like trying to learn how to do business, but then never starting the business. Most people, most business people never succeed on their first business, let alone their first 10 business ideas. So you got to practice. And so throw yourself in there, obviously get some base knowledge, throw yourself in there, create whatever it is for that first product, that first video, that first whatever it is, and then keep going. So that's all I got for y'all this week, man. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, let me know how you all are doing with your college semesters, as well as your high school semesters. I know got some high schoolers in here. And yeah, I will see you all, or make sure to like the video, subscribe if you have watched some podcasts and you feel that it's adding value, and you enjoy watching the podcast. Subscribe to the channel. I meant to say to follow my Instagram for Cam Chronicles Clips. It's just at Cam Chronicles Clips, all one word. On Instagram, I do have a new Instagram page that will have kind of like 1 minute clips of like new episodes and old episodes, of maybe funny clips or inspirational clips, motivational clips, whatever it is. That's not necessarily the channel that I was talking about earlier. The channel will actually be on YouTube, and we'll have like 7 to 10 minute videos of the clips of what I talk about in the podcast. But with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.